The last laugh of Warlord Zara's sky was on fire. Above the planet, Tryon 6. Black smoke and red flames danced together. Ships were falling. Buildings were burning. Screams filled the air. High above the ground, on a broken watchtower, Warlord Zara stood tall. Her armor was made from bones of her enemies. Her long black cape moved with the wind. Her red eyes watched the destruction below. She laughed. Not a soft laugh. A cruel, loud laugh that echoed through the battlefield. This was your final hope? Earth sends weaklings to fight me? Zara raised her hand. Behind her, her army roared. Thousands of alien soldiers in dark armor stood like shadows. Giant war beasts, twice the size of tanks, growled, ready to destroy more. Zara pointed at the last human base. Crush them. Burn everything. Leave no one alive. The final attack began. Inside that base, alarms screamed. Lights blinked. Earth's flag hung torn on the wall. Soldiers shouted, but most were gone dead or running. Only a small group remained, and among them was a young alien boy. His name was Koji. Koji was small, maybe 12 years old in human years. His skin was blue, and his eyes glowed faintly. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a fighter. But he had a job. A big one. Koji ran to the control room. He was scared. The walls were shaking. The roof was cracked. But he didn't stop. He sat at a broken computer and typed fast. His hands moved like lightning. Come on, just work. He whispered. He was sending a signal, a message. A final call for help. One last hope. The signal jumped from satellite to satellite. Across destroyed human colonies, across empty space, across fire and darkness. The message was short. Emergency. This is Tryon 6. Warlord Zara has returned, requesting one name, one person. Requesting the human. Outside, Warlord Zara walked. Through the smoke, her soldiers cheered. Bodies lay everywhere. She crushed a helmet under her boot. Zara turned to one of her captains. Any humans left? No, my queen, he said. They're all dead. Good, she smiled. Let them remember. Let the stars know. The age of humans is over. She didn't know. One signal had escaped. Far, far away, past broken moons and silent stations, the signal kept moving. It passed through ancient human tech long forgotten. It reached a black ship, floating in deep space. No lights. No sounds. Dead looking. The moment the signal touched it, the ship woke up. Lights turned on. Engines hummed. And in the dark chamber inside, a single cryopod opened. Steam poured out. A man sat up. His beard was short. His body was scarred. His eyes were sharp. He looked around slowly. Then he spoke, voice rough like sandpaper. Zara. He stood, walked to the control panel, looked at the message. He read Koji's words. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. Just whispered 2 words. Not again. Then he picked up something from the shadows. A weapon. It was strange. Not just metal. It looked alive, breathing. He put it on his back, walked to the pilot's seat, and said, Time to finish what I started. Back on Tryon 6, Koji was hiding inside a metal locker. He was crying. Soldiers were searching nearby. Suddenly, he heard a voice in his small earpiece. A robotic voice. Signal received. Response confirmed. Koji gasped. He's coming? Yes. Koji closed his eyes, shaking. Please, hurry. And in the deep, endless space, the black ship turned. It moved fast. Faster than light. Faster than fear, because the man inside, it wasn't just a hero. He wasn't just a soldier. He was something more. Something even Zara was afraid of. He was the human in the dark edge of space. Silence was not peace. It was warning. A lonely black ship drifted near the remains of a forgotten space station. No life signs, no movement, no sounds. Inside the ship, Dust floated in the air like tiny ghosts. Everything was cold, still. Dead, but in the heart of that ship, something began to blink. A red light. A signal. The message from Tryon 6 had finally arrived. Requesting one name, one person, the human. The chamber door slid open, hiss, steam, and then a man. He stepped out of the cryopod slowly, tall, silent. Heavy boots hit the metal floor. His name was Darius Kane. To many, he was a myth. To some, a ghost. But once, long ago, he was the galaxy's most feared human soldier, and now he was awake again. Darius stood in front of a glowing screen. He read the message. Zara's name appeared. And he didn't blink. He didn't scream or panic. He just stared, his jaw clenched tight. One deep breath, in and out. Zara's not dead. He reached into a steel locker nearby. Out came his old armor-scratched, battle-burned, but still strong. And his weapon. The pulse edge, not just a sword, not just a gun. It was something else. Something only he could use. And only when the fight truly mattered, he whispered to the ship's AI. Power up. Set course to Tryon 6, max speed. The eye answered coldly. Warning. Return to combat is highly dangerous. You are not at full strength. Darius sat in the pilot chair, eyes still locked forward. She's still alive. That's all I need. As the ship jumped into warp, the stars outside stretched like rivers of light. Time moved fast. But memories moved faster. He closed his eyes. Flashback, 10 years ago. A battlefield. Blood. Fire. Screams. Zara and her champion stood tall. Darius's team gone. Betrayed. Trapped. Barely. She had disappeared in the final explosion. Everyone believed she was dead. But he had always known monsters don't die so easily. Back on Tryon 6. The child, Koji, was hiding in the remains of the old human base. He held a small device. It flashed green. A voice came through cold. Deep, human. This is Kane. I got your signal. ETA, 1 hour. Stay alive. Koji gasped. His eyes lit up. You're real, I thought. I thought humans were finished. I'm not humans, kid, Kane said. I'm just the last one Zara couldn't kill. Koji smiled for the first time in days. But the moment didn't last. The ground shook. Enemy troops were nearby searching. Smelling, hunting. Koji crawled into a duct and whispered, please. Come fast. Meanwhile, Zara stood in her war chamber aboard a massive ship in orbit. A red map showed planets she had destroyed. A new red dot blinked. Incoming ship detected. She narrowed her eyes. That can't be. One of her guards came forward, trembling. The signal. It matches an old Earth code. Human origin. Zara turned slowly, her voice like ice. Darius Kane. But my queen, the guard stuttered. He died. Snap. She broke his neck without looking. No one speaks his name in my presence. Zara walked to a dark cage in the corner of the room. Inside, strange shadows moved. She whispered to them, tell my champion, it's time to rise. Something roared in reply, back in space. Kane's ship dropped out of warp. He looked down at Trion-6.smoke.fire. No welcome. Just how I remember it. As he prepared to land, the AI spoke again. Enemy forces, thousands, you, alone. Yeah, Kane muttered. That's the idea. He landed in silence. No lights, no sound. He stepped out. Tryon 6 was now a graveyard. The air smelled like burning metal and blood, and yet. Kane smiled. She's sloppy. This place was better defended last time. He pulled the pulse edge from his back. It shimmered, reacting to his touch. Still working, still deadly. Far away, in the sky, Zara's warship began to descend. Thunder rolled. And something massive dropped from it. A figure in armor, 10 feet tall, glowing eyes. holding a massive blade. Her champion had arrived. Cain didn't flinch. He looked up. As ash fell like snow, he tightened his grip. Let her send her. Monster, I'll send it back. In pieces. The wind on Tryon 6 tasted like metal and smoke. Captain Darius Cain stood on a cliff, his long coat flapping in the hot wind. Below him, a valley of sharp rocks and broken machines stretched for miles. He wasn't here to admire the view. He was here to build an army, but not from humans, from aliens. The first rebel camp was hidden inside a dead volcano. When Cain walked in, the guards laughed. A human? Alone? One alien snorted, another spat on the ground. You should have stayed frozen, Cain. Darius didn't speak. He walked to the center of the camp. Dozens of fighters stopped training and stared. Most of them had never seen a real human before. He raised his voice. I'm not here to beg. I'm here to teach. Silence. Then a tall alien with 4 arms stepped forward. You? Teach us? You bleed like the rest of us. He charged fast, strong, deadly. But Cain didn't move. Not until the last second. Crack. Punch. A twist. A fall. The tall alien lay on the ground, gasping for air. The whole camp froze. Cain stood over him and said, Anyone else? No one moved, and so the training began. Every day, Cain woke them before sunrise. He showed them how to fight like humans, quick, brutal, clever. He turned broken robots into targets. He made weapons from scrap. He drilled them until they fell, then made them get up again. Some hated him, most feared him, but slowly. They all respected him, because Cain didn't train them to survive. He trained them to win. One night, Koji sat near the fire, watching the stars. Cain walked over and sat beside him. Not used to war camps, are you? Koji shook his head. No. I was born in a lab. My people, they don't fight. We just study, build things. Cain nodded. And now you're caught in the middle. Koji looked at him. Why did you come back? You could have stayed hidden. Safe. Cain stared into the fire. Because Zara doesn't stop, and if she wins, the galaxy becomes her cage. You fought her before, right? Cain didn't answer. Instead, he opened a small box. Inside was a photo, old, faded. A team of smiling people. Humans. His old squad. All gone now. Yeah, he finally said. I fought her, and I lost everything. Next morning, Cain led the rebels into a hidden cave. Inside was a strange, silent machine, covered in dust, glowing faintly. This, he said, is a relic from the First War. Built by humans, abandoned when we lost. One alien asked, What does it do? Cain smiled. It makes monsters bleed. They began fixing it. Koji used his knowledge to power it up. The rebels wired old ship parts into its systems. Hours passed, and finally, the machine came alive. A long cannon rose from the ground, humming with energy. Hope was beginning to breathe again, but far above the planet. Warlord Zara was watching. From her throne, she watched the rebel camp through a spy drone. She clenched her fists. So, he builds an army, she whispered. She turned to her champion, Tarek, who stood silent beside her. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. They think they are ready. Go. Show them what real war feels like. Tarek bowed once, then vanished into the shadows. That night, Cain stood guard outside the camp. The wind had changed. That it was too quiet. He drew his weapon, the pulse edge. The blade glowed faintly. Then he saw it. Far across the ridge. A single figure. Tall, wide, glowing eyes like fire. He wasn't hiding. He wanted them to see him. Cain stepped forward. You here for me? Tarek didn't speak. He raised his blade twice the size of Cain's, and then he pointed. Not at Cain. But at the camp behind him. Then he turned and walked away. A message. He would return. Not alone. Not quiet. He would return to end them. Cain walked back to camp. Koji met him at the gate. What was that? Kane didn't smile. Didn't blink. Just said, "The champion is awake." Later that night, Kane stood in front of the rebels. "Tomorrow, we fight like it's the last day of our lives. Because it might be," he raised his pulse edge, "but if we win, it will be their last day." The rebels roared, not in fear, but in fury. War was coming. And this time, the humans weren't running. The sky above Tryon 6 cracked open, not with thunder, but with the sound of a ship breaking the sound barrier. A massive object, black and burning, pierced the clouds. Flames danced around it like angry spirits. It didn't glide. It didn't float. It fell. And when it hit the ground, the shockwave broke mountains. Dust flew for miles. Animals screamed and ran. Rebels stopped what they were doing. Even Kane froze for a second. He had felt this presence before, inside the crater. Steam hissed. From the fire and stone, a figure stood up. He was huge. 10 feet tall. Muscles like steel cables. His armor looked like it was carved from meteors. Glowing cracks ran along his arms and legs like lava under the skin. In one hand, he held a blade longer than Kane was tall. The air around him shimmered. Heat. Power. Rage. This was no soldier. This was Torak, the champion of Warlord Zara, and he had arrived. Back at the rebel camp, alarms rang. Fighters grabbed weapons. Some looked terrified. Others whispered stories, rumors of a monster who once killed 20 human marines in 10 seconds. Koji stood on a tower with binoculars. His hands shook. "It's him," he whispered. "The one from my dreams." Kane walked up beside him. "Dreams?" Koji didn't look away. "Every night, I see him. I feel him. I don't know why." Kane's eyes narrowed. Something didn't make sense. "You're not just a boy, are you?" Koji didn't answer. Down in the valley, Torak began walking toward the camp. Not fast. Not slow. Like he had all the time in the world. Every step was thunder. Rebel snipers opened fire. Nothing. Bullets bounced off his armor like dust hitting stone. Explosives went off under his feet. Still, he walked. Kane grabbed the mic and shouted, "Focus fire. Don't let him reach the gate." Tanks rolled forward. A wall of rockets fired. A firestorm lit up the valley. For a moment, it looked like Torak was gone. But then, he ran. Straight through the flames. Straight at the tanks. Boom. One tank flipped into the air like a toy. Boom. Another was crushed under his foot. Torak didn't slow down. He was destruction walking. Kane jumped into the fight. His pulse edge lit up, humming like a living thing. He charged straight at Torak. They clashed. Metal screamed. Energy flashed. The force of the hit sent shockwaves through the air. Kane slid back 10 feet, his boots digging trenches in the dirt. Torak didn't move, not an inch. He tilted his head. Spoke. For the first time, weak, still broken, Kane spat blood. Still standing. He attacked again, fast, smart, brutal. He used everything: speed, skill, trickery. Torak blocked everything. Then wham. He hit Kane once in the chest. Kane flew 30 feet and hit a wall. Hard. In the camp, Koji gasped. He ran to Kane's side, dragging his small body through fire and dust. Kane coughed. "Stay back, kid." But Koji stood in front of him, facing Torak, his eyes glowing. Something inside him had awakened. Torak stopped, looked down at the boy. His eyes narrowed. He didn't attack. He stepped back. "You," he growled. "I know your blood." Koji's hands started glowing. Kane pulled himself up. "What are you talking about?" Torak growled louder. "He's not yours, he's hers. He is Zara's." Silence. The fire cracked behind them. Kane stared at Koji. "Is that true?" Koji looked lost. "I don't know. I don't remember anything before the lab, but I feel her in my mind, like a shadow." Torak stepped back again. He looked at Kane. The boy is the key. She wants him alive. Then, without warning, Torak leapt high into the sky, vanishing into a black ship that took him away. Gone. Back at the rebel camp. The mood was cold. Fighters treated Koji differently now. Some stepped away. Some looked afraid. Whispers filled the air. Zara's son. He could betray us. Kane stood in front of the group. He's not Zara. He's a child. A fighter. He sent the signal that saved us. No one said a word. Kane looked at Koji. You're part of something. Big and dangerous, but I don't believe you're the enemy. Koji lowered his head. What if I am? Then we'll stop you, Kane said. But not today. That night, Koji sat alone. He looked up at the stars. He didn't know who he truly was. But he knew one thing. Torak didn't kill them. Because of him. And that scared him more than anything. Far away, aboard her ship, Warlord Zara sat on her throne. Torak kneeled. He's alive, he said. The boy. Zara smiled. A cold, cruel smile. Good. Bring him to me. Alive. He will be the weapon that ends humanity. Once and for all. The stars looked peaceful that night, but peace is just a lie in war. In the sky above Tryon 6, Zara's warship floated like a hungry beast, silent, watching, waiting. Below, in the rebel camp, something worse than fear had begun to grow. Call on doubt. Inside the command tent, Darius Kane stood over a map table, surrounded by his top fighters. Koji stood near the corner, silent. The rebels were arguing. He's Zara's blood. He might be spying for her. She didn't kill us because of him. Kane raised his hand. Everyone went quiet. We don't punish people for bloodlines. We punish them for choices. He turned to Koji. Are you still with us? Koji nodded slowly. I don't know what's inside me, but I want her stopped. Kane gave a short nod. Then that's enough for now. But in the shadows of the camp, someone was listening. Her name was Reka, a rebel sniper, loyal to Kane, or so he believed. That night, Reka walked to the edge of the camp and opened a secret device. Her hand trembled, but her voice was clear. This is Unit 6. I have confirmed location of the boy. Sending coordinates now. A voice replied. Cold, familiar. Zhara. Good, your reward is coming. Rika closed the and stared at the stars. A tear rolled down her cheek. Forgive me, Kane. The next morning, the camp was buzzing with energy. Kane had ordered the final phase of training. The weapon from the human war, the relic cannon, was finally ready. They had one shot, one chance to use it when Zara's flagship came close. Kane gathered the fighters. Tonight, we prepare for the final battle. Zara will come, and when she does, we fight as one. Everyone cheered, even Koji smiled, but Rika looked down, guilt burning her chest. Later, in private, Kane checked the security feed. Something caught his eye. A flash, a signal sent. At midnight, he zoomed in, and his heart dropped. Rika. He confronted her in her tent. She didn't deny it. I had to, she said. She has my brother. They said he'd live if I gave them the boy's location. Kane's face turned to stone. You betrayed us all. I didn't mean to. I couldn't lose my family again. Kane lowered his weapon. He didn't kill her. He didn't forgive her. But he made a decision. Get out, now. If I see you again, I won't miss. She walked away, crying. Koji had heard everything from outside the tent. His chest felt tight. Because of me, Kane looked at him. No, because of her. That night, Zara's ship moved closer. Inside, she stood at the front of the war room. Begin drop, tubes opened. Hundreds of elite soldiers dropped like meteors across. Tryon 6. Torak led them. This wasn't a scouting mission. It was a cleansing. Alarms screamed in the rebel camp. Explosions rocked the ground. The sky turned red. Again. Kane rushed outside, calling orders. Man the walls. Activate the relic cannon. Get the boy to safety. Koji didn't run. He ran toward the relic cannon, helping power it with his strange glowing energy. Kane noticed. It's reacting to him. The cannon lit up like the sun, for the first time. They had a weapon strong enough to hurt Zara's ship. In the chaos, Torak landed near the cannon. His blade tore through steel and flame. Kane jumped in front of him. Round 2, Torak grinned. I won't stop till I take the boy. They clashed again, Pulse Edge versus Chaos Blade. Fire and energy exploded with every hit. This time, Kane didn't fall back. Meanwhile, Koji touched the cannon core. It lit up brighter. His hands glowed with energy. Suddenly, his mind filled with visions. Zara's throne, a secret lab, his birth. In a machine, not a woman then. A code, something. Deep in his DNA, a weapon, a key. I'm not just her son, he whispered. I was made to end her. He shouted to Kane, I can fire the cannon, now. Kane ducked a blade and nodded. Do it. Koji aimed the cannon at the sky. Zara's flagship appeared through the clouds, locked on, firing now. A beam of pure white energy shot into the sky like a god's finger. It struck the flagship. Boom. The ship shook. Flames exploded from its side. It didn't fall, but it was hurt, badly. On the ship, Zara gritted her teeth. He activated it. She turned to a new soldier. Prepare the final weapon. Back on the ground, Torak grabbed Koji by the arm before escaping. She's coming for you herself. Then he vanished in a teleport flash. The rebels cheered, but Kane didn't smile. This isn't over. Koji looked up at the wounded ship in the sky. She's angry now. Kane placed a hand on his shoulder. Good, let her come. Asterisk, the battlefield was silent, not because there was peace, but because the storm hadn't hit yet. Smoke curled into the sky from burning machines. The rebel camp was half destroyed. Bodies lay still, weapons by their sides. But in the middle of the chaos stood Darius Kane, covered in dust and blood, breathing heavy, one hand gripping the pulse edge. Across from him, floating slowly down from the sky, came Zara's throne. Platform, a black circle of metal, glowing with red light. She stood on it like a queen. Her armor gleamed. Her eyes were fire. Her voice echoed across the land. You survived, again. Kane stepped forward. His voice was dry, calm. Only because you keep running before I can finish you. Zara smiled sharp and cruel. You're old, Kane. Slow, tired. He spat blood and grinned. And still enough to scare you. Torak stood behind her, blade in hand. His wounds from the last fight had already healed. Koji stood beside Kane now. His eyes glowed with strange energy. Inside him, something powerful had awakened, ancient, human, alien. Unknown. Zara noticed. My son, she said softly, almost lovingly. You were never meant to be on his side. Koji stepped forward. You created me to be a weapon. But I chose to be something else. Zara's eyes flashed. Then I will break you both. The battle began. Zara raised her hand. The sky opened with fire. Drones rained down. Mechs marched. From the hills. Elite soldiers teleported in. The ground shook. Kane didn't wait. He charged straight toward her. Pulse edge hummed bright, angry. Zara leapt from her throne. Her claws came out. They clashed. Human versus alien warlord. Kane ducked a spinning blade. His pulse edge sliced across Zara's armor, cutting deep. She screamed, part pain, part fury. Then her claws struck his chest. He stumbled back, coughing. Blood. Lots of it, but he didn't fall. That's all you've got? He growled. Koji raised his hands and focused on the relic cannon again, trying to power it. But Torak landed in front of him. You are not ready, the champion hissed. I don't care, Koji said. And he fought. Koji was smaller, weaker but faster, smarter, and he had energy inside him, that even Torak couldn't understand. Each time Torak struck, Koji dodged. Each time Koji touched the ground, sparks followed. Meanwhile, Kane and Zara kept fighting. It was brutal. No words. Only pain. Each blow was years of hate. Each strike was a piece of their past. Zara screamed and threw a fireball. Kane rolled under it and stabbed deep into her side. She stabbed back. Kane fell to one knee. Zara raised both hands to finish him, but Koji shouted, "Nah!" He unleashed a shockwave of pure light. It hit both Zara and Torak. Zara flew backward. Torak stumbled. Kane used the moment. He stood. Limping. But standing. "Let's finish this." He rushed Torak. They clashed one last time. The pulse edge met the chaos blade. And this time, Kane went all in. Torak smiled. "You'll die doing this." Kane nodded. "Maybe, but you'll die first." He slid under Torak's swing, jumped up, sliced once, twice. Torak fell to one knee. Kane raised his weapon high. "This is for everyone. You crushed." And with one final strike, he split Torak in half. The battlefield went still. Even Zara paused. Her champion was gone. Forever. Kane dropped to the ground, exhausted, barely breathing. Zara's eyes were wide, for the first time in years. She looked afraid. Koji walked forward. His voice was calm, strong. Zara shook her head. "No, you belong to me." She activated her final weapon, a device on her arm. It glowed black. "If I can't win, I'll take everything." The sky above changed. A black hole began to form. Kane whispered, "She's opening a singularity." Koji looked at Kane. Then back at Zara. "I can stop it." Kane grabbed his arm. "You'll die." Koji smiled sadly. "You once said humans were meant to end rulers. Maybe that's what I am too." Koji stepped forward, glowing brighter and brighter. Zara screamed and charged him, but Kane tackled her down, holding her back with all he had left. "Do it, Koji." Koji raised both hands. Light exploded from his body. The singularity broke apart. The warship above began to fall. Zara screamed. Everything shook. And then, silence. The sky cleared. Kane opened his eyes. Koji was gone. Only a glowing mark on the ground remained. Zara was unconscious. Her power broken. The war was over. The rebels began to cheer, but Kane didn't move. He just sat there, staring at the sky. "You did it, kid." A single tear rolled down his cheek. "You chose to be better, even if it meant losing everything." There was no sound. No screaming. No weapons. No war. Just wind. Soft, quiet wind blowing across the battlefield of Trion-6. Smoke rose from the remains of ships. The rebel camp was half burned. Bodies, both friend and enemy, lay still, untouched. But in the middle of it all, one man stood. Darius Kane. His armor was cracked. His body was broken, but his eyes still sharp. He looked at the glowing circle on the ground where Koji had vanished. No body. No remains. Only light. A soft pulsing light like a heartbeat. Kane fell to his knees. He wasn't crying, but his hands shook. "He saved all of us, and no one will know his name." Nearby, Zara stirred. Her armor was blackened, her power drained. No crown. No army, no champion, just a fallen warlord. Kane stood, limp toward her. She looked up, weak, but still full of pride. "Kill me," she said. Kane looked at her for a long time, then dropped his weapon. "No." "Why?" she hissed. "I destroyed your people. I burned your world. And that's exactly why I won't become like you." She stared, breathing hard. For the first time, she had no answer. The rebels gathered around. They saw Zara, defeated. Some shouted for justice. Others demanded blood. But Kane raised his hand. "She's done. Her rule is over. And if we start with revenge now, we'll only build another Zara." The fighters looked at each other. And slowly, they stepped back. Later, inside the broken war room, Kane stood, his face red. "You're the last. You're the last. You're the last." He Kane sat alone. He looked out the shattered window at the stars. A rebel officer entered quietly. "Captain, the people want to know what comes next." Kane didn't answer right away. Then he said softly, "We rebuild. We teach each other. And we never let one voice control the stars again." Far above Tryon 6, Zara's flagship drifted. Half destroyed, lifeless. A team of rebel engineers boarded it and shut down all weapons the galaxy would hear of. Her fall and of a strange human child, who stopped a black hole with light, but no one really knew where. Koji had gone. Some believed he was gone forever. Others whispered he had become part of the stars. There were stories. A glowing figure seen, flying through the ruins of other Zara-controlled worlds. Children rescued from fire by a flash of white light. A voice in dreams saying, "Be better than what made you." Kane didn't know what to believe, but he hoped. Weeks passed. The rebel camp became a base. Zara was held deep underground, no longer feared, just forgotten. New leaders rose, one from each species, one from each side. And Kane? He didn't stay to rule. He packed his gear, fixed his ship, looked once more at Koji's glowing mark, and left. His ship moved through space. Like a shadow, he visited old places, human graveyards, broken colonies, stations no one remembered. Everywhere he went, he lit a beacon, not a weapon, a light, and on every planet he said the same thing: "You are not forgotten. Help is coming. You are not alone." Years later, a young alien girl sat in a classroom on a free world once ruled by Zara. She raised her hand. "Teacher, is the story of the human and the star child true?" The teacher smiled. "It's more than true." She clicked a button. A hologram appeared of Darius Kane, holding a weapon of light, standing beside a boy glowing like the sun. The words appeared below. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the smartest. But he made a choice. And that changed everything. Back in deep space, a new ship traveled silently through the dark. On board sat a figure wrapped in a black coat. Kane older now, quieter, but never done. He stared out the window. Then smiled. Just a little dot in the reflection. A small, glowing shape appeared beside him like a ghost. Koji. Not quite alive, not quite gone. Just there. Watching. Guiding. Kane whispered, "You still with me, kid?" No voice answered. But the stars pulsed brighter for a second. And that was enough. And so it ended. No crown, no throne, no great reward, just a man, a memory, and a message that spread across the galaxy like light through darkness. Humans were not made to rule. We were made to end tyrants and build something better. The end.